Um, I want to talk about this, man, and I might receive a lot of flack for it, but I don't give a damn because these are my thoughts and opinions. And if you don't like it, please get the fuck off my channel. But I'm gonna call it like it is. I want to talk about modern day interracial relationships. I repeat, I want to talk about modern day interracial relationships. Like I always say, love is love. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, whatever. Love is love. But here's the thing, though. I was studying the history of interracial relationships of the past and up to now, the present. And I realized something. These modern day relationships, I don't respect. And I'm going to tell you why. The number one main reason why I don't respect modern day interracial relationships is because they haven't been through anything. They haven't been through nothing. Like, for example, back in the day in America, you had racism, you had Jim Crow, and there's been many cases. There's been some cases of black men falling in love with white women and vice versa. You have white women falling in love with black men. And the prejudice and racism was so strong to the point that it literally drove those particular people apart. It's like they literally got threatened. Like for example, they'll tell you that either you date within your kind or we're going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Either you date your own kind or we're going to kill you to make an example out of you. Situations like that. See, these modern day interracial relationships haven't went through the struggle like that. They haven't went through anything like that. But here's one thing I will say though. When it comes to the modern day interracial relationships, if there's religion involved, like when it comes to the culture, when it comes to religion being involved, okay, that I give the modern day interracial couple their props. Only if there's religion involved. You know what I'm saying? Because religion is a very powerful thing. It's a very deeper meaning and a very, very powerful thing. So when it comes to interracial relationships, if they dealing with their relationships on a more cultural, religious aspect of it, then okay, I can understand that. But other than that, though, man, if it's just some type of regular old relationship without religion being tied into it, then I don't have too much respect towards modern day interracial relationships because they haven't went through what the ancestors have went through. You get what I'm saying? They haven't went through what people of the past have went through. You know what I'm saying? Because the people of the past had it very hard, and they would literally kill you because you're dating a different race. And then, you know what I'm saying? Back then, they would make examples out of you. You know what I'm saying? So back in the day, people who was into dating, a different race, they would be forced to date somebody and marry somebody within their own race. And to tell you the truth, man, a lot of those people tend to be, pretty damn sad because those people wasn't the original love of their life. You get what I'm saying? They're devastated because the people that they truly love came from a different race. So they had no other choice but to marry somebody within their own race. And that's how they become very, very sad and devastated, So like I said before, man, I respect interracial relationships of the past because they've been through a whole lot, which is prejudice and racism and discrimination. But when it comes to these modern day relationships, they don't go through much. They don't go through too much. You know what I'm saying? Unlike the ancestors of the past. See, the ancestors of the past, went through a lot when it came to interracial relationships. But there is one thing I will give modern interracial relationships. If religion is tied down with it, then okay, I give the modern day interracial relationships prosper because their marriage, or should I say their relationship, has religious ties to it. But other than that, though, man, like the vast majority of modern day interracial relationships, it's not based off of religious means or anything, and for the most part, they haven't went through a whole bunch of bullshit, unlike the people of the past. So yeah, but that's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. It kind of makes sense too, man, because like I said, love is love, but you have to understand what other people have went through in the past in order for us to get where we need to be at today. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to interracial relationships, it plays a big part. It plays a big part, especially in America, man. Especially in the Western world. I'm sorry, especially in the Western world, especially in America. That plays a big part, and people don't fully understand that, man. A lot of people in the past could not marry the love of their life because the love of their life was from a different race. So they had no other choice but to settle down with somebody within their own race. And that's very devastating. Like I said, I'm not a lovey-dovey type of person, but it'll do something to a person, not just within the mind, but also in the heart too. It'll do something very negative towards that person within the mind and also within the heart. That person have, what I'm saying? Basically, if you're forced to marry somebody within the same race, and your preference is towards the love of your life is from a different race, if you're forced to marry somebody within your own race, man, that'll create a devastating effect onto your life, whether it's the mental and the spiritual. So when it comes to the heart and the brain, it'll do some devastating effects towards the person's mind and also the person's heart. You know what I'm saying? Not only that person will have a broken heart, but his or her mind won't be the same. You know what I'm saying? It'll be some type of trauma, some type of negative trauma that's going to affect that person's psyche. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that. But overall, man, that's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. This is why I always preach this. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. This is why I always preach this one slogan: pay homage to the old school. Because if it wasn't for if it would pay homage to the old school, because if it wasn't for the old school, we would never be here. A lot of us would never be here right now. I would always pay homage to the old school because without the old school sacrifice, a lot of us would never be here today. A lot of us will never be here today. So like I said, man, pay homage to the old school, man, because they really did. They really did lay the foundation for us in order for the new generation to make more moves. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, pay homage to the old school, and that's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, man. So thank you so much, and have a good day.